And it's very disappointing that the news media and this network as well continues to tell people I'm a felon, which I've never been convicted of a felon. I'm probably less likely to be a felon than anyone, given that I was investigated for 4.5 years and they couldn't find anything.
So what are you if you've served time in jail?
A misdemeanor. It's the only misdemeanor to serve time at a felon prison in California. So I think that should tell us something as well when they're sending misdemeanors to prison so they can't continue to communicate for a year is pretty telling.
Didn't West Virginians vote accordingly and say, whatever the merits of your argument, sir, you were not their cup of tea. They opted for someone else. You were third. You're not a sore, bitter loser.
No, I'm a little bit bitter at the fact that people continue to report that I'm a felon and continue to claim something that's obviously false. I think that, everybody from Laurel Ingle to Judge Napolitano need to stop that, because they know I'm not a felon, and that means that they don't believe in the justice system.
All right, we can go round and round on this. He might not be so crazy. Don Blankenship running as a third-party candidate in a state that supposedly has a sore loser law and says that he can't. Well, according to Judge Napolitano, oh, yes, he can, right? Is that what you're saying?
Let me say first that Don Blankenship is correct. I once inadvertently said on air that he was a convicted felon. He was not. He was acquitted of the charges, the felony charges against him. The only thing he was convicted of is a misdemeanor. Definition of a misdemeanor is the maximum penalty is 1 year or less. Definition of a felony is the maximum penalty is 1 year or more. He was convicted of the least of all the charges against him.
So just serving a year in jail doesn't make you a convicted felon?
That's correct.
Which was his point.
That's correct. I also believe that he is right to challenge in federal court, not in a West Virginia state court, but in federal court, the sore loser law, and I think almost any federal judge would invalidate it, because the people have the right to vote for whom they want. The sore loser law is a self-protection written by the political parties, and it's basically a disfranchisement. I may want Marcy, who, by the way, is a Bergen County guy who tried cases before me when I was on the bench in Bergen County, or I may want Joe Manchin, who's the most conservative Democrat in the Senate. Put aside who I want. The people of West Virginia have the right to express their fact that they want somebody else, and the political parties can't gang up together to prevent them from doing that. So I think he's got a very good argument.
That law, has it ever been challenged in West Virginia? I know they have it in a couple of other places, but the idea being that you lose the primary, you can't just run away and run as a third-party candidate. I believe that this, I'm sure he'll file the challenge because he's very determined, but I believe that this is the first time that it will have been challenged in West Virginia.